My parents couldn't understand why I cut them off, so they broke into my home. So, I 25F grew up in a family where favoritism wasn't even subtle. My younger sister Emily 23F was the golden child from the day she was born. She could do no wrong, while I was treated like the family scapegoat. When Emily got bad grades, my parents would say school isn't for everyone, she's just creative. If I brought home anything less than an A, it was why aren't you applying yourself? Do better or you'll never get anywhere in life. Birthdays, Emily would get huge parties, expensive gifts, and a whole weekend dedicated to her. Mine? A store-bought cake. Sometimes not even my own present because money was tight. The kicker? The same year they said money was too tight for my 16th birthday, Emily got a brand new iPhone and a laptop. Even in daily life, it was obvious. If Emily made a mess, I had to clean it up. If she broke something, it was somehow my fault for not keeping an eye on her. When I got accepted into a good college, my parents barely acknowledged it. But when Emily got into a local community college, they threw a barbecue to celebrate. The breaking point came last Christmas. I came home after months of not visiting, and everything under the tree was for Emily. Literally every single present. I asked if maybe mine were coming later, and my mom just shrugged and said, "Well, you're an adult now. You don't need gifts. Emily still deserves to feel special." I left that night and decided I was done. I went no contact a few weeks later. The aftermath? Since then, my parents have been blowing up my phone. They alternate between guilt-tripping family is family. You don't just walk away and raging. You're so ungrateful after everything we did for you. Emily even called me to say I was selfish and that our parents worked so hard for both of us. I told her the truth. They didn't raise both of us. They raised a princess and a punching bag. I just decided to stop playing my role. Now my parents are telling extended family I've gone cold-hearted, and that they don't know what they did wrong. And honestly, that hurts more than anything because they really don't see it. Update 1 for months later. A lot has happened since my post, so here's an update. After I cut contact, my parents didn't take the hint. They actually showed up at my apartment one evening. They pounded on the door, yelling about how I was tearing the family apart and demanding I come home and talk this out like an adult. I didn't let them in. My neighbor threatened to call the police if they didn't leave, and that's the only reason they finally went away. A week later, I heard from my aunt, the only relative who's ever been supportive. She told me my parents were spinning a whole story to extended family, saying I had become unstable, that I was brainwashed by friends, and that I turned against them for no reason. Thankfully, some relatives didn't buy it, but others did. Emily also reached out, sending me a long message about how I owe it to her to come back to the family because we only get one set of parents. She genuinely doesn't see it. I tried to explain how different our upbringings were, but she dismissed it and said I was exaggerating. The good news is, life outside of them has been good. I got promoted at work. I'm in therapy now, and it's been eye-opening to realize how much of my self-esteem was wrapped up in trying to win their approval. For the first time in my life, I celebrated my birthday with people who actually cared about me. It feels strange and freeing at the same time. Update to 1 year later. A lot has happened. I'm fully no contact now, new number, new city, no way for them to reach me. It's been quiet, and that quiet is honestly the best gift I could have given myself. Emily did reach out one last time a few months ago. She was overwhelmed, saying our parents' constant support had left her completely unprepared for adulthood. She's in debt, can't keep a job, and relies on them for everything. She asked me to help her fix her life, but when I gave her practical advice, she complained to my parents that I wasn't doing enough. They twisted it into me abandoning her when she needed me. That was the final straw for me. I realized I can't save Emily, and I definitely can't change my parents. This past holiday season, I spent Christmas with my friends, my chosen family. We cooked dinner together, exchanged gifts, and actually enjoyed being around each other. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was bracing for disappointment. If anyone else out there grew up the scapegoat to a golden child, please listen. You don't owe your parents or siblings your life just because you share DNA. You're not ungrateful for protecting yourself. Walking away was the hardest thing I've done, but it gave me my peace back. And that's worth everything. Glad the OP got out of that situation. But this story is not done yet. Now let's get into the main part you have been waiting for. Update 3:18 months later. I honestly thought all of this was over. I moved cities, changed my number, blocked my parents everywhere, and started over. For more than half a year, it was blissfully quiet. I really believed I had finally escaped the chaos. But I guess my parents can't accept boundaries. A few weeks ago, I came home from work and noticed my front door looked off. The lock plate was bent, and the door wasn't fully shut. My stomach dropped instantly. I live alone, so I knew something was wrong. When I pushed the door open, I was hit with the smell of my mom's perfume. I walked inside and there they were, my parents, sitting in my living room, like they owned the place. My dad had literally pried the door open with some kind of tool. The lock was completely broken, and my mom was acting like it was no big deal. She looked up and said, "Finally, you're home. We needed to talk to you face to face since you've been ignoring us." I was shaking, part anger, part fear. I demanded to know how they even found me. My mom just smiled and said, "A mother always knows where her children are." Later, I realized she probably guilt-tripped my aunt into giving her a clue. They went on this long rant about how I was destroying the family, how Emily was suffering because I wasn't around, and how it was time to stop this childish silent treatment. They acted like breaking into my home was a completely rational way to resolve things. I told them point blank to leave, or I would call the police. My dad got angry, saying, "You wouldn't dare put your own father in jail." That was the moment I pulled out my phone and started dialing 911. My mom panicked and dragged him toward the door, but not before he hissed at me, "You'll regret this." The cops came, took statements, and confirmed it was breaking and entering. I filed a police report. Changing my locks wasn't enough. I've since upgraded to a security system with cameras. My landlord was furious about the damage, but thankfully supportive when I explained. What shook me the most was their total lack of remorse. No apology. No acknowledgement that what they did was criminal. Just self-righteous anger that I dared to set boundaries. I thought I was finally free, but apparently, I have to keep proving to them and maybe to myself that their control over me is gone. Right now, I'm considering filing for a restraining order. Therapy has been helping me stay grounded, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't rattled. Update for 2 years after original post. I wasn't sure if I should even post this, but so many of you have been supportive through this nightmare that I feel like I owe you a continuation. After the break-in, I went back and forth for weeks about whether to file for a restraining order. My therapist was gently pushing me toward it, and honestly, the fear of seeing them on my couch again was enough to make me sick. In the end, I did it. I filed. It wasn't easy. Part of me still felt like a scared kid who was overreacting, but the judge didn't see it that way. The police report from the break-in was enough. I now have a protective order in place. For a while, things were quiet again. Emily texted me once, saying she couldn't believe I would go that far and that I basically ruined Mom and Dad's lives. I didn't respond. That was 3 months ago. Then last week, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, but I recognized my mom's handwriting immediately. Inside was this rambling, 6-page letter about how family should forgive, how I've broken your father's heart, and that when we're gone, you'll regret this. It wasn't an apology. Not even close. It was another guilt trip wrapped up in dramatic threats about how I'd be the one left alone when they die. I didn't even finish reading it. I handed it to my lawyer, who's already talking about how this may violate the protective order. Here's the thing. I don't feel guilty anymore. For the first time in my life, I read their words and didn't feel that gut punch of, maybe it really is my fault. I just felt exhausted, tired of the cycle, tired of their games. The part that still stings is Emily. I used to hold on to this hope that once she got older, she'd see the truth, that she'd finally realize how differently we were treated and maybe even apologize. But she's doubled down. She's completely enmeshed with them. Every message I've gotten from her has been about how I am the one hurting them, how I am the selfish one. I've had to accept that she may never break out of the golden child role. The silver lining is my own life. I just signed a lease on a new place with a friend, and for the first time ever, I feel like my home is really mine, safe, warm, and filled with people who actually want me around. My work is going great, and I've started dating someone who treats me better than my family ever did. I'm not going to lie and say I'm over it. Family trauma doesn't just disappear, but I'm healing. Slowly, surely, I'm building a life that feels like my own. And if my parents or Emily ever show up again, I'll be ready. This time, they don't get to tear it down. If anyone takes anything from my story, it's this: some people will never respect boundaries, and sometimes the only way to protect yourself is to get the law involved. Thanks for listening to my story, and thank to everyone that supported me through all of this. I don't think I could have gotten through this without any of you. Okay. Wow, what a story. Let's start with the parents. They are very crazy for everything. Them treating the OP like a black sheep. Them giving Emily the world as if she is a queen. Them breaking into the OP's house. There is so much going on in this story. I can't keep up. Well, just start on the breaking and entering. The parents are so bad for this. Instead of thinking, I wonder why my child doesn't talk to me anymore. I should reach out and see what's wrong. Which shouldn't be a question because you literally treated them so badly. They say, nah, let's break into her house, she won't mind. Which is crazy. I'm still wondering why the aunt gave them her address. But I'm glad she's out of that situation now. The OP is so strong for dealing with all of this. But let me know what you would do in the comments. Bye you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your day. God bless all of you. And now for the verse of the day. 2 Chronicles 7:14 KJV. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. Jesus loves all of you.